Hello, comic dudes. It's board game night here at the Cayden Comics residence, and I got the perfect game for optimal fun. Uno! Mastermind! How's that spelled? Rafiki? Triominoes! Okay, for real this time. Dominoes. What is this? Pictionary. This is a board game? I guess it'll do for tonight.
Squawk, 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 I am a bird.
What did you just say, penguin guy?
Please, you have to help me. My translator worm is trapped in that jar over there.
I'm sorry. I don't speak bird.
Come on, you got to help me out.
If only there was some way to communicate without the use of words!
Not dominoes, that's for sure. The weird thing is, my whole life I never thought of Pictionary as a board game, more so as a party game. Like if I were hanging out with some friends, I could grab a piece of paper and say, "Let's play Pictionary," and not a single person would ask, "Where's the board?" It wasn't until very recently that I found out that there was an entirely different plane of existence when it came to Pictionary, lying beneath the surface. Pictionary is a board game, but it's developed more into a party game throughout the years. These days, it's far more common to see a Pictionary party version instead of a classic version. The game was created back in 1981. It was acquired by Hasbro in 1994, but ended up in Mattel's hands by 2001. But allow me to do a quick rundown on how the game works first. Pictionary starts with a board, a die, an hourglass, stacks of cards with prompts, pencils, and paper. The game starts with everyone picking a team with 2 people on each team. The teams take turns drawing a card, then drawing something listed on the card corresponding to the colored space they're on. Then the other teammate needs to try and guess what you're drawing before time runs out. Then rinse and repeat until one team makes it to the end first. Pretty cool, but the way I've always played it is far different. The way I play it is everyone takes turns being the drawer, and everyone else has to try and guess what they're drawing simultaneously, and whoever guesses first gets a point. It may be simple, but it is incredibly fun with the right people.
But what if I combine both my strong suits in gaming and my strong suits in board gaming to help me solve this penguin predicament?
Want me to answer that question?
No need for what ifs, because that's what I'm about to do right now!
This is what Purgatory looks like. Imagine it's 1990, you're looking for a new game to play for your PC, and you see a game called Pictionary that costs $49.99, and you buy it because you might as well. But actual Pictionary costed like 50% less. What is the mindset here? Regardless, let's say you thought this was a total steal for whatever reason, and you took it home and booted it up. The game boots up and gives you a basic how to play that flashes on screen, and then you could play Pictionary, or at least a heavily limited version of it. You can play with up to 8 players, all taking turns, which is nice. Also, can I say this? Starting this game has to be one of the most convoluted things of all time. To start a new game, you're supposed to click on the card box, which you would only know if you read the instructions, which I didn't. So I ended up bumbling around trying to find out how to start for like 10 minutes. Once the game starts, if you're playing single player, the cursor will start moving itself and begin to draw, but if you're playing with others, they will be able to draw. Now I know the drawing system is rather good for the time, but MS Paint was out by now, and that was the blueprint. Then you all have to try and guess what they're drawing before time runs out, and once someone gets it right, they get to roll the dice and move spaces, and whoever makes it to the end first wins. Overall, I think this game is pretty confusing to play, but overall I think it offers a solid experience close enough to the board game.
Alright, Bird Brain, draw me your problem.
No hands, no thumbs, no fingers, no skin.
He has no fingers!
Why stop with the PC? Console gamers deserve this game too. If you've ever heard about this title, it probably isn't for the gameplay, but instead for the absolutely banging soundtrack. From Another One Bites the Dust, Chiptune Edition, or the best title screen music for the NES has to offer. This game has it all. In fact, I think I heard the composer didn't really care he was making music for Pictionary and just wanted to have some fun with it, making him such a cool guy. Once you press start, there are 3 different modes you can load into, which I'll explain here. Regular game. The game starts and you have to list how many teams, how many people are on the teams, and what to name each team. Then the game starts and teams take turns playing these mini games. If you play well in the game, then it'll be easier to guess the image, but if you play poorly, the image will be harder to guess. However, if you guess it right, you can roll the dice and move across the board. Each team repeats this process until one is crowned the winner by reaching the finish first. I think that this is actually pretty cool, and I could see me and a few friends having a good bit of fun with the games. My personal theory is that this was the precursor to Mario Party with all the mini games. Alternative game. Alternative game. It's like playing regular, but this time the players are actually drawing, which I will touch more on in the drawing practice part. However, I will say, I do feel this is the lesser way to play in comparison to the wacky action of regular. Drawing practice, where you can practice guiding this little cursor around to draw stuff to get prepared for alternative game. This is genuinely impressive for the NES. I have no clue how they got this to work. Sure, you're pretty limited, but it's not all that bad. I'd still choose paper over it, though.
Alright, surely this time you'll be able to figure something out.
No hands, no thumbs, no fingers, no skin.
On top of having no fingers, he has no thumbs!
Pictionary in my hands! I'm honestly shocked they got the board game rules to work on the DS, but lo and behold they did it. Considering I thought it would just be the party version, the board game choice leaves me hopeful. This was a big jump in time between the earlier two games. Looking at the timeline, it seems these games phased in and out of relevancy, which is fair. When you start the game, you can even make an account, which is pretty cool. You can add a name and a profile picture for your account to differentiate it, and if you don't want the pre-made icons, you can make your own. This iteration actually offers a fair few different ways to play, which I'll list off here. Pictionary board. You can play by yourself with someone else taking turns, or even playing multiplayer with other nearby DS users, which is really cool to see in such a niche game like this. The game plays like normal Pictionary, as you'd expect. Too many rules. You can even choose the icons of the teams, which is really nice. And when you allow the teams to make custom icons, the goofiness can really begin. To decide who goes first, you roll a die, which is really nice. It makes it feel like it isn't all about making a team first to get the edge. Can I just say how much I adore these player pieces? They just look like jello when they walk around. First complaint. Only allowing one person to see the card relies on the honor system, which if you know people, you know that's a flawed system. When someone is drawing, the screen on the top mirrors it so everyone can see it better, which is one of the greatest features of all time. Besides that, not much has changed in this mode, but still very epic. Quiz! A free play mode is the best way I could describe this.
Either that or I have to get out my number 2 and get ready for the SAT.
You can play by yourself, with a friend, or host a game for nearby DS users, which is really nice. The game is simple, something is being drawn and you have to guess it before time runs out. You can do marathons, timed, or streaked, whatever floats your boat. This game is honestly pretty fun. It's the same sort of fun you can get out of Brain Age, where you get excited to be getting things right because it makes you feel smarter than you are. Very epic game mode. Cayden approved. Clue creator. It's exactly what it sounds like. Sure, the prompts that come with the game are cool and all, but what if there are just some inside jokes or funny prompts you want to create in case you want to have some fun with friends? Well, worry no longer. Here you can create your own clues for Pictionary that people can play around with. And I mean, think of all the possibilities. Try drawing this. Overall, genuinely nice feature. Me likey. Options. Truly one of the scariest parts of this game. Opening the options, you can change the volume and the sound effects, but also down there are records of you with achievements. This game having achievements is such a random and almost useless addition, but it makes me feel so cool when I get achievements, so it's a good feature in my opinion. And that's Pictionary on the DS, probably one of the more in-depth versions, and might be the best way to play Pictionary digitally in general.
Alright, buddy, let's see it. You really gotta get better at this simple drawing thing. The only thing I'm seeing is pig.
Imagine if all those other games were 3D. Now imagine it bad. I know this isn't a Pictionary-specific issue, and was a problem for most, if not all, Wii games. But this game just looks extremely fake and glossy, if you feel what I'm getting at. It looks like it's all just undersaturated and bleak. But some Wii games definitely didn't have this issue, so maybe it's just something that can be solved and just isn't. This game was the flagship title for the U-Draw tablet, and because the U-Draw tablet killed THQ, I'd say Pictionary retroactively was the one that brought down THQ. But that's just a theory. A game theory! Anyways, onto the game itself. This title came out in 2011 and sold 86,000 copies. And for a U-Draw tablet game, that's one of the better ones. Booting up the game, there are a lot of features that were stripped away from the DS version that I would have loved to play on the big screen. But the options here will do. There's Play, which takes you to the board game, same thing it's always been, nothing new here. There's Free Draw, which lets you draw freely with the U-Draw tablet. This game actually offers a lot in terms of tools to draw with. Pencil, airbrush, eraser, gang's all here. Then there's Team Banner, which just lets you give the team something to differentiate each other with through graphics. Then Options, nothing cool here like the DS version sadly. The visuals on this game, Wii scuffedness aside, are actually pretty nice. This game's board is definitely livelier than any previous entry, making it all feel more alive. Overall, my favorite part of this version is probably the more advanced drawing capabilities, but that's about it.
I'm not even gonna try the Wii mode because even if he had thumbs, no one has any idea what to do with that thing.
Many online games have tried to make it big by supplying a similar experience to Pictionary but online, so here I'll be doing a video game successor lightning round. Let's get started. Drawful series 1, 2, and animate all stem from the same Drawful tree. What is the Drawful tree, you ask? A Jackbox game. That's right, this episode's Jackbox Party Pack 3.5. I've already covered Drawful 2 in a previous episode, so check that one out if you want a more in-depth analysis. And since 1 is basically the exact same as 2, I'll just mention animate. Drawful animate is Drawful 2, but you can add frames! Gartic Phone, the classic game of telephone.
3 purple elephants flew a pink plane.
This game is playable on anything with a web browser, making it very accessible. A basic idea of the game is that you'll be allowed to make a prompt for people to draw, they draw it, then the next person needs to try and name what you just drew, and then the next person needs to draw what they just said. So on and so forth. You get the idea. This game may not be exactly like Pictionary, but it holds a lot of the same charm with the crude drawings, guessing mechanics, and it all being timed. I suggest playing this with some friends if you find the time. Caydencomics approved. Sketchheads, played in Concord. Back in 2022, Concord added a feature where in voice channels you can play simple party games with friends with no application required or anything else needed. I actually really like this feature, as a lot of the games are very impressive to be playing in application, considering Concord was never meant to be a game-playing platform. Some of my favorites included Bobble League, Watch Party, Putt Party, Poker Night, because I'm a masochist, and last but not least, Sketchheads. Sketchhead works off the party rules of Pictionary rather than the board rules, which is always good to hear. Each round, one player is given 3 prompts to draw, they pick one, then they have to draw it really fast for everyone else to try and guess. The little chat at the bottom is hilarious because half the time people are spitting out nonsense just to trick other people. The most convenient part is that not only are you told the subject of the drawing, but also the character count, making it quick and easy to guess if you know what you're doing. My favorite feature is that while you're waiting for someone to pick their prompt, you can draw freely on the canvas for instant fun. I like this game a lot for its quick-paced nature, and won't go into too much more detail as I'm seeing the idea of doing an episode on Concord activities more and more of a funny idea. Scribble.io and Sketchful.io. That's right, it's IO games time. Prepare for cancer. I have nothing against IO games as a whole, but a lot of them tend to be pretty mediocre, but I can't get mad at simple multiplayer fun, which most of them are. The games themselves are basic Pictionary but online games, with the party rules being in effect. I love joining in random games and curb stomping everyone there, but that's just what I do with my free time. Quick, draw! I have never wanted AI to be stopped more than this point.
I didn't mean it, Alexa. Please protect me in the robot uprising.
Basically, Google has a bunch of online games for God knows why. Some of the better ones include Pac-Man, Snake, Baseball, whatever this is, and Quick Draw is just like these, but it's all about drawing. Imagine all the leverage you can have in Pictionary with someone who knows how you draw or knows how you like to draw things so that they can better guess stuff faster. Now imagine all of that leverage being taken away because this AI only wants to guess crap. 50% of the time I won't even be trying too hard and it'll guess it instantly, and other times I'll be waiting for it to get it right just because there's nothing else I can add to make it guess it more accurately. I probably shouldn't even be training the stupid AI!
Honestly, I really don't know how this lightning round solved your problem. I was really just doing it for fun. I'm really sorry about that.
Just grab the jar, you idiot, and this can all end.
Lightning round done. Feel free to comment down below your favorite out of the games listed, because they're all free, mostly, and you could just play them on the spot. I don't see why you couldn't.
Stop posting about Among Us! I'm tired of seeing it!
Overall, these games show that not all board games turned video games have to be bad, and some of them are just alright. I mean, some of these iterations I actually half enjoyed. Each and every single one had something new to bring to the table. Whether it be the NES's version's banging soundtrack or the DS's achievements, everything meant something. Anyways,
Here you go.
is it a fish?
I'm going to kill you, the absolute idiot.